The fall of millennial media,
Yeah.
or at least
So
2000s media.
yeah. So yes, G4 is officially dead and buried. And apparently, a lot of the people who were still working at G4 found out they were out of a job from this article right here. There we go.
If not this exact article, one of the.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it's so G4. I have positive memories of G4. I used to watch it in college. I wouldn't call myself
Yeah.
the biggest fan, but I found out about some video games from there back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. Yeah.
I remember enjoying Morgan Webb.
Yeah. Yeah. And I enjoyed Sarah Underwood.
I even used to have a soft spot in my heart for Adam Sessler just because he was like you can't just have you need to have like somebody to play off of, and his obnoxious attitude was kind of endearing at times.
Yeah. And of course, I didn't know who he was at the time, but I did like Chris Gore's little segment on Attack of the Show, even though I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, I had no. I don't know if I remember him distinctly, but I probably did like it because I mean, Chris has like a very defined energy. Like he's very compelling to watch, give an opinion.
Yes.
Even if he was doing things like defending She-Hulk early on, though now he's had to eat a bit of crow.
Yeah. um, but yeah, and it bringing G4's return, I think, was doomed from the start.
At
Um,
least the dumbass way they were doing it.
yeah, the way they did it, and we've talked about this in the past, and talked about it. We've talked about G4 before. Yeah, time to die again, G4. But yeah, like they just kind of went into it like guns blazing and threw all this money at it, thinking, "Oh, we're G4. People are going to come back and watch us all again." When in reality, and like I said, we talked about this before, they should have started out a little slower. Um, should have gotten in touch with some gaming streamers and some VTubers, and maybe done a few shows and live streams here and there. Very very simple, low budget stuff, just to see if they could do it. And but that's not what they did.
Nope, they just what was the funniest thing about it is they bought or they rented space in a big in a big shooting studio to make what looked like somebody's basement when they could have just bought the house for the same amount probably
Yes.
and rigged it up to be shot in.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a comedy of errors all around. And and of course, with the network dying, we have to bring up Frosk's rant, which, to be fair, that wasn't the reason G4 fell apart, but
Hell, I
it's
didn't even know they were back until I saw that rant.
yeah, it's same here. Yeah, which because I think the rant happened like 3 months after two or 3 months after G4 came back.
Yeah, I think it was like March, April, somewhere in there.
Yeah, and I it certainly didn't help because you alienated your core audience like much the way She-Hulk did, um, and I remember when we talked about it, you brought up like how she should have done it, how she should have gone about it in the first place.
Right. Come at it from their side. Hey guys, I do something like be funny, don't be angry.
Mhm.
It's very much like, and I'm actually going to compare them to, of all companies, Hololive. Hololive started small. They had the one performer, Tokina Sora, just as a proof of concept. Then they added a few more. Then they added a few more. Then they kind of became a small machine and they added five more here and four more there and five more there. And now they've got like, between all the male and female VTubers, they've got 50 plus performers.
Wow.
And they make a lot of money off of merchandise and YouTube ads and super chats and music, and just they've got a whole business enterprise. If they had launched with all 50 performers at the same time, they would have just crashed and burned right away.
Yeah.
Also, the way that a Hololive girl deals with somebody objectifying them is to either, well, actually, Frost's problem is that nobody wanted to objectify her. Although, according to her, I think she said she was like Tom Cruise for lesbians or something, or which I don't doubt.
Yeah.
But the way to deal with that would have, like, I could just picture a bunch of those VTubers who I was watching very heavily in 2020 because what else was there to do?
Yeah.
Um, they would deflect it with good humor, but not tell them to go away.
Yes.
That is always the worst thing you can do in this modern entertainment environment, is to say, if you don't like it, don't watch it.
Yeah.
Because we are not lacking for options.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you tell somebody that, yeah, tell us don't watch it. Okay, we won't watch it.
Wait, why aren't you watching it?
Yeah. But and and I remember I was watching Clownfish talking about this too, and they're like, yeah, we'll just sit around and wait for the 3 hour documentaries to start coming out.
Chris Gore even has, well, he doesn't have one about the fall of current G4. He has one about the fall of old G4.
Yeah. I think he said they just finished it. And,
Yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out for that.
yeah,
That
me
sounds
too.
interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, Adam Sessler has said a variety of things that I don't choose to pull up and read because pretty sure YouTube doesn't like those.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't need to. Yeah, we don't need to read those. And yeah, it's. Yeah. Do you guys not have sexism in gaming?
Okay, that's a riff on the. Do you guys not have mobile phones?
Yeah. Yes.
It's,
is this an out of season April Fool's joke?
So much of media has been some bean counter telling somebody what to do, and even though the audience would absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
Which can work in the short term because you have a certain base of people who, if they like a thing, will keep consuming it even if they don't like it as much anymore. But once you start actively antagonizing them.
Yeah. No. But as far as Adam Sessler is concerned, way to go, buddy.
The third time you get your show or G4 canceled, you get a free ice cream sundae.
Ooh.
just have to get the third punch on your card.
Yeah. But yes, G4 is gone, and sayonara. Keep it where keep it buried. Don't try to bring it back again, please.
Whatever chance you had to retool and rebrand, gone now.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe in 30 years it'll be beamed into our brains, and they'll still make a studio in Burbank that looks like somebody's basement. Oh yeah, they didn't play the games and people write the scripts for them.
Yeah.
like Frost made the mistake in, if not that rant, another one.
Yeah.
Where it's like I read the same script as Adam, or same people write my scripts as do Adam's, and you don't have a problem when he says it.
Yes.
You're exposing the business a little bit. Because I think it's I forget. I think it was World Class Bullshitters was talking about it, and they were basically destroyed by the people who they inspired to start with, which is ironic.
Yeah. Steel claps for Team BMA.
Yes. Um, Meanwhile, the other company that I have way more of an emotional attachment to, Rooster Teeth.
Rooster Teeth.
They're still with us somehow.
Yeah.
Now, I don't really care anymore about them, but I had strong opinions on Rooster Teeth and Ruby back in the day.
Mm,
Kick Vic kind of destroyed my attachment to Ruby. That and the fact that so Ruby came out at just the perfect time
mm,
in the history of the internet.
mm,
It was before Crunchyroll really became a thing. Back when it was
mm.
hard to find anime that you could watch without having to spend a whole bunch of money.
Ah.
And so, oh, hey, posting on YouTube, posting it on their own website,
Mm-hmm.
posting it all over the place. You can just watch this. It wasn't great, but it was always short and pithy. Like you could, they used to the old seasons of Ruby were short enough that you could watch them in one night as a movie.
Mm.
And they started trying to become a real anime at the time when real anime started getting good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And something's like, oh, do I watch Ruby or do I watch Shield Hero?
Uh,
I wonder.
yes. uh, yeah. Yeah. They're a real company now.
Yes. Uh, and it sounds like well, we'll talk a little bit about this. A former employee of Achievement Hunter and Ruby is criticizing the company named Kadin Jensen, describing it as an unsafe and horrible place to work. Lots of unpaid overtime. Apparently, half of their show Genlock was supposedly made off contract with off contract, like it was made in overtime when they weren't really
Mm.
supposed to have overtime because they would have to pay for overtime. So it's like, hey, keep on working, please. We'll
Ooh.
just not report it.
Mm.
Which, by the way, red flag. If your company asks you to pay overtime but do it off the clock, that's illegal.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The only person who I believe is legally allowed to do that is if you are the actual owner of the company and thus are not salaried.
Yep. Yeah. Major red flag there.
But lots of called slurs and just lots of unpleasantness in general. Um,
Yeah.
and Rooster Teeth canceled their live streams the day that this came out.
Mm.
The cowards.
Yes.
Um, and it's what it really sounds like is Rooster Teeth was started by a bunch of, well, they're older than that, but a bunch of frat boys playing Halo together and making dick jokes. And the culture never really changed, even as they got to the size where they should have been acting like a real company.
Mhm.
Lots of scandals, lots of financial trouble. I'm amazed. Like Achievement Hunter must get enough views that Zaslav doesn't care because they're part of that Warner Brothers umbrella now.
Yeah. They are based in Austin, Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That might explain some of the culture of the company because Austin is well, it's very not too dissimilar from Seattle or San Francisco.
Yeah, it's the blueberry and the tomato soup, is what I've heard it called.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and normally I say let's see some evidence and receipts and not just believe somebody who makes an accusation, but it seems like their corporate policy is to toss people out at the slightest accusation. Cough, Vic Mignogna. Cough, cough. So
Yeah.
I choose to fully believe this.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It's very surprising to see that this company is still around. Be interesting to see how much longer. Probably not much longer.
I mean, they kind of got their saving throw with having an actual anime studio make a season of Ruby spinoff,
Yeah.
which I haven't bothered to see yet. I might. I don't know.
Yeah. What's wrong with company secrets being exposed? Yes.
But yeah, it's you know problem with entertainment is that it's just often hideously corrupt because there's so many people who want to get in.
Yeah. And it's unfortunately it's kind of it's always been that way. I think like
Yep.
even in the golden age of Hollywood, it was just
Oh, especially in the golden age of Hollywood.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. Well, them's the breaks, I guess.
yeah, I kind of wish we could have ended on a lighter news story. Like in lighter news, well, there is a second season of Overly Cautious Hero coming out, and I mentioned this earlier in my thing of the week. That I enjoyed the ending. Well, all through the ending, I was thinking, how the hell are they going to get a second season out of this? Oh, okay, I'm game.